Hello and welcome to Chapter 5, Marketing 458. We're talking marketing strategy today. So in Chapter 5, we're really looking at a variety of strategy decisions specifically related to our P product, which most of the time encompasses the actual product itself and the offering mix that we have, how we position those offerings or products, and then what our branding strategy is. All right, so let's first look at the offering portfolio, the product mix, the offering mix. Depends on the textbook that you look at, the person you're talking to, okay? But the offering concept, and this is really particular to your book, really instead of product, your book uses the term offering. Why do they do that? Well, they do that because in a lot of ways, while we have a product or service, what we're really selling to people are the benefits of that product or service, the satisfaction they get from the product or service, right? And so when we think about this concept of offering or the P, our product P, yes, it includes the actual tangible product or service that we are offering, the t-shirt or the haircut or whatever it is, right? It also includes any related services, right? So let's say that your service is hairstyle. You're a cosmetologist, you own a beauty salon, and you offer services like a haircut, dyeing your hair, and all of those, different styles of dyeing you can do. Maybe you add extensions. So these are the services that the tangible services the customer would choose from, right? They call and they say, hey, I need my hair cut and I need it colored and I want, a super fancy balayage, style and of dye and all these things, right? But really on the service list, it's going to say, okay, haircut, certain amount. It's going to say, balayage, certain amount, or maybe it says dye and then, because it's a more complicated technique, it has a base price and then an additional price that's added on for that more complex service. Okay, but those related services are still going to be things like, you wash the customer's hair, you style their hair, you blow out their hair when you're done. There are, some places that are really big on like, you get a head massage whenever you get your hair cut and when you're getting your hair washed. And they're really particular about that, like part of the service. For if it's your Maytag and your product your product is a physical product of a washer and dryer, a related service that oftentimes comes with the purchase price would be installation, right? Or maybe you're a car dealership and so you have a deal where everybody who buys a car gets a year's worth of oil changes included. So those are all related services, right? A couple of different product service examples. Brand name is going to go into the brand itself is part of the offering or product concept. We're going to talk more about that later in this chapter. Any types of warranties or guarantees. So again, back to the car example, a lot of cars come with a variety of warranties. Some of those are provided by the actual automobile manufacturer. Some of those are provided by the actual dealership themselves. Same with brand names. You have the brand name of the actual cars that you're selling, right? Toyota or Honda or whatever. But then you also have the brand that you are creating for your particular dealership. And some dealerships are relatively unknown. It's just like the Ford dealership, which is pretty common probably in smaller towns where they're only one in, no one's going to drive to whatever the next Ford dealership over is for anything, like my hometown, right? But here it would be entirely feasible for someone to say, I don't really like the reputation of whatever the Ford dealership's name is here. Is it Bailey? I don't know. Whatever the Ford dealership is here. But I've heard that the Wilson Ford dealership over in Greenville or Greer or whatever has a really good reputation for whatever, for really good service after the sale or something. So the brand name, in that case, you have sort of two branding propositions there. I mentioned warranties and guarantees. Packaging fits in here. So this could be what we traditionally think of packaging in terms of what, how do you package the actual, food item, or how do you package, there's some brands that if you order something online, when you receive it, it's, boxed up in a really nice looking box. It's not just like thrown in the Amazon box with maybe some, protective packaging, but it has like a, maybe like a burlap bow on it, or, burlap ribbon around it, and you open it up and the shirt that you ordered is in, a nice tissue paper, and it's really wrapped more like a gift, right? That's the packaging. So even, things like clothing have these related packages. What type of bags do you use, right? You sort of think of like a clothing store. Most clothing stores use your traditional like plastic bags, just like anywhere else. But there's a wide variety of even bags that you could use. Is it a Walmart bag? Is it like a limited bag that's a little bit like thicker? Is it a little paper bag that looks sort of cute? What is that packaging that the customer walks out of the store with? And then if you even think of like a service, here packaging is less related, but you might have other features like ambiance, right? Go back to the hairstyle, the hair salon example. Some salons have a more like modern feel, upbeat, fast music, really like, top 40 hits and kind of music. You're going to have other salons that, they found some 120-year-old house and renovated it, and it has a lot of character, and maybe the smell, whatever scent it is that you use for your salon might be part of it. The music that you play, that sort of ambiance is all going to be part of the offering concept, especially in those service related offerings. Another part of the offering portfolio that your textbook points out is the concept of bundling, right? And so bundling is a really nice marketing concept of taking two or more of your products, right, and creating a new offering, effectively a bundle, right? So now we have, let's say we had two products or services that we sold, and now we've created a bundle of those products, and so now we have three effectively products that we sell. This is really effective in both product, like tangible physical product marketing, as well as service marketing, right? I think in this case, I think a good example would be like wedding services, whether maybe like wedding planning services or wedding photography services. If you purchase a photography session for engagement photos and you purchase a photography session for the wedding, and then you purchased a videographer package for the wedding or videographer session for the wedding, and then you had another session for those cool photos off in the field because that takes another like hour or whatever it is, right? If you like piecemealed together all the time that it would take that you would want for your wedding photography, right? The price a lot of times would seem astronomical. But most photographers don't do that, right? Most photographers don't really charge by the hour per se. Most photographers have a bundle package that comes with a certain number of hours, a certain number or a certain number of photos, a certain number of photographers on site or videographer, you can add the videographer package. And so it feels like a better value for the consumer, right? It's valued by consumers more than just those individual items sold separately. Okay. So, it has a number of benefits. One is the idea of value, right? If someone was piecemealing this together and buying each individual piece of a wedding photography package, they might not buy as many things, right? Because they wouldn't feel like they were getting as good of a deal. It would be frustrating because they have to really, again, think of like so many different individual things. They would get very complex and complicated. In this way, they don't have to make separate purchases for each little thing. The same thing as the little example on this page. Most or oftentimes you see luggage sold in sets, right? Here's your luggage set. Here's all the luggage that you need as a traveler. You can buy this one set. You don't have to worry about making separate purchases or worrying about if, all the different pieces of the luggage that's in the particular color or pattern are in stock. You can just get the bundle. And then sometimes we also have satisfaction that you get from one item with the presence of another item, if that makes sense. So, it might be that, golf clubs can be bought individually or they can be bought in a set. Right? It would do you no good to just go buy, if you're a beginning golfer, it will do no good to go buy one golf club. You could not, or at least not very easily, right, play a round of golf with just one golf club. So you have more satisfaction with the entire set because you have the driver and at least one iron and a putter. You kind of have to have all three of those things, but preferably a full set, and you have more satisfaction that way. And finally, this provides a lower total cost to buyers, but lower marketing costs to sellers. Very rarely would you see a golf company advertising a 9-iron. It's not worth it. If they're going to advertise their golf clubs, there might be a special driver that they would advertise individually, and then probably the rest of the advertising for clubs is going to be sets. Right, the same thing with the wedding photography. Right, we don't see advertising for or marketing for, all those individual pieces of the package. We see advertising for there's package A or there's package B. And so that's a benefit for both buyers and for sellers.